coming down.
How's it, everyone? And welcome to another episode of Cultured the Podcast. Got the whole gang here.
The
today.
whole gang is here. I'm
fucking
excited.
stoked. Yeah, it's been a while since. Some my kick shoes over there.
Oh, it's gonna be terrible. Looks like I have a tumor.
Little tumor growing out of there. Nice.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll get it. You're just gonna hear a bunch of for the next 10 minutes or so.
Oh,
I was just gonna
gotcha.
hang it on here and point it out.
I don't know if it's got to be pretty close.
Relax. Go ahead. Go ahead, guys.
So, where do we want to go with this? So, for those who haven't seen the off-camera shit, Roman and I've been sitting here for like about an hour.
2 hours. 2 hours.
2 hours doing the fucking podcast
Yeah,
without
doing it.
cameras, basically.
Intentionally. It wasn't like an accident. We didn't
Yeah.
have the
Yeah,
cameras
we
not
didn't
on.
have the guy. We were waiting on Jake.
Yeah,
Um,
I was late.
No, he was catching up on some well-needed beauty rest.
He doesn't need it.
So
Definitely
we went through a gambit of fucking
topics.
topics already. So we already
And
shot.
going somewhere totally different. We haven't even mentioned this, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. You have the letter? he took it.
Jake took it.
Um,
Is your torch over there work?
yeah. If you want to grab that one.
I might want to do this intro again, bro.
No,
Is
that's
it going
good.
out?
Might be.
I don't hear it. Oh, that's
I
probably going out.
don't know. It's
Nice.
good though. I was able to get it. So we had already run through a gambit of topics, but then Jake decided to come in with a very, very interesting T-shirt that brings up another topic that I'm not too keen on talking about, but I guess we'll talk about it.
Well, like, what aren't you keen about talking about, though?
I have
Like,
a-
you say you have an unpopular.
I have a very unpopular opinion
So
about it.
most people I talk to, whether liberal, conservative, initially think they have differing sides, but when you actually talk to them about it, it's pretty. They're asking for similar things.
Which would be gun control.
I think you're more talking about the specifics of what they're
Of
requesting.
gun control, define gun control.
Still gun
A lot
control.
of people, but currently right now in California, that's what's being asked federally, right?
Yeah.
Because not everybody is doing what.
Right.
And granted, we still have mass shootings in California with our current thing, and that's
The
what's being
highest.
asked for.
They just put out a I guess a poll or a study that California has the most mass shootings in the country.
Is that a legit?
I don't. Yeah.
Study.
I don't. Yeah. I saw it. I saw the article and I was
wanna
like,
see Breitbart
interesting.
come out with a poll
yeah.
that's pretty
But
biased. But not to say, I mean, I haven't looked into it, so I don't know.
But
anything.
that being said, regardless of and then so specific terms like mass shootings have become so anything that's considered a mass shooting is that results in a death of 3 or more.
No, I
Right.
said it's 4 or more people shot at a given time. It doesn't say deaths.
Okay, so I guess mass murder would be 3 or more.
Mass casualty.
Yeah.
Mass murder.
So the states with the highest gun violence, just gun violence, if you just want to say like
Chicago.
guns are a problem,
Right.
Chicago,
Yeah.
Chicago, California, I think Florida and New York. We'd have to double check all those, but it's other than Florida and I think maybe Texas, the other ones have the strictest gun laws, if not the strictest in the country. which leads to my opinion where gun control does not work. Gun laws do not work because you're setting laws for the people that obey laws. So
Correct. Yeah.
90% of people that own guns, maybe more. But I want to say 90% because if it was less than 90%, there'd be a lot more casualties, considering how many guns there are in this country.
Yeah, we have the most guns.
500,000 more. They have more. We have almost double the amount of guns in this country than we do people that live.
And I mean, initially, when something like a school shooting happens, it's like, dang, we need to get rid of guns because this sucks, right? And I get it, right? If you're talking to
the knee-jerk reaction, yes.
If you're talking to a parent, but if you think about it, it's like, damn, all these guns are already in existence. They're already here. People aren't just gonna. The nice guys will turn some in, maybe. And because I hear let's have a gun buyback program.
But do you want the nice guys turning them in?
No, it doesn't make. If you think about it, it doesn't make too much sense because it's like the bad guys, they're not gonna turn their shit in.
Exactly.
So, but the question needs to be asked, like, okay, so what do we do? Like, we're in this situation. What is the resolve? How do we curb this? Because I mean, you could write it off and be like, oh yeah, well, compared to citizens and guns, like we don't have that many deaths if you put it all in perspective. But we still have, I mean, one is too many, right? It's like, so I mean, I have a daughter who's in 4th grade,
right?
Another daughter who's in 2nd grade. If that happened to me, I'd be probably at the front line being like, well, fuck, what are we gonna do?
Exactly.
What 100%. Is the answer?
100%.
So that's like where we're at.
Yeah.
What do we do? Do we have guards? You know, do we have guards at every school? Is that the answer?
So the reason I didn't want to talk about this and the reason I don't like talking about this is because one, whenever there's casualties and a lot of people talk shit, oh, thoughts and prayers, you send your thoughts and prayers, you send your, to be honest with you, that is the most important thing you can do at a time like this is focus on the thoughts and prayers and the people that were affected by this. Getting on the topic of gun control right away and start pumping your narrative of oh, you know, yeah, this is why we don't need guns. This is why gun laws need to be. This is why we need more guns. This is why. Fuck off, all you guys, everyone that's sitting there that is making this a fucking gun issue when like these poor innocent souls have been taken.
And not only that though, like the kids that survived. Imagine what those fools are going through.
Exactly.
That's gotta
exactly.
suck.
We have people that come back from war. A large percentage fucked up with what they see. Now imagine being a fucking kid who can't even comprehend that.
3rd grader.
I can't even. Their mind hasn't even been developed to comprehend. These people are scarred for the rest of their fucking lives, and you guys are worried about stupid fucking narratives about guns. You guys are worried about oh, we should have. This is why we should have this law. Just to virtue signal and get your fucking point and your opinion across. And it's that's why I don't even like getting into the discussion. My stance on gun control is the only thing that'll stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Okay? And you can get into...
But, I mean, that's a general way of saying it, but it's like, all right, what's the real answer though? Like, what is the solution? It's so, like, as people are like, oh, let's have veterans, you know, who know guns and who've been there, let's have them stand guard at schools. It's like, do we have PTSD people?
That's a good solution, you know. But you have, you know how many people are on Army Reserve, National Guard, that we have that are just fucking doing nothing right now. Absolutely nothing. We have the largest military in the world. With the next, I think it's like 10 countries combined.
But then you go into the thing, it's like, all right, so you do that, you have at schools. Then there's a mall shooting. Then you have, or, you know, a grocery store shooting.
Where does it end, kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Where does it end? And it's like, okay, then everybody's armed. Every building is armed. And it's like, oh shit, you have somebody gaining control of them. Then it's, you know.
So
at the same time, if you take everyone's guns away, like some people want to do, then you know the criminals aren't giving up their guns.
Correct. All the innocent are disarmed, and the bad guys have guns. So well, that's why it's such a tough conversation.
So,
but it gets shut off because everybody's like, oh well, no, we're ridding guns. You're either on that side of the spectrum, or you know what? Let's arm everybody. Let's not touch gun laws. Let's stop the conversation because we're not going to solve it. So it's super complicated, and nobody wants to like actually think of a solution and reason.
In the past 50 years, how many presidents have been assassinated?
50 years. 60s was the
Was the last one 60 years ago was JFK?
yeah,
right?
to be assassinated. Who got shot at? What?
Hmm.
Carter and Reagan.
Reagan, right? The reason we don't have politicians getting gunned down left and right is because they're defended by people with guns. And it's not because they have an arsenal of people, they have a fucking military of people guarding them. No, but just knowing that there's somebody there, and the consequence of you trying to inflict harm, the consequence is death right away, hands down, is deterrent enough. You know, there's this
that's apples to oranges when you compare presidents to schools and things like that, because there's all this ahead of
Okay.
ahead of time. And all
okay, 21 years ago, some assholes flew fucking planes into a building.
that.
What did
And the planes.
what did the government do? They set up
But you basically,
they set up not a bunch of fucking militants that are now going through searching the shit out of you and fucking making sure. No, they just put up deterrents. TSA, the protocols at airports changed. We are technically frontline, like not first responders, but we're frontline defense when it comes to if you see something, say something. You know what I mean? Also, we don't have guns. We just say like, hey, this is fucking weird, and we report it to the proper authorities. But the proper authorities are there to respond in time and make sure shit like that doesn't happen. Deterrent is the biggest fucking tool that we have at our disposal. A sign that says a gun-free zone is not a fucking deterrent. If anything, it's a fucking beacon for, hey guys, this place is fucking completely defenseless, and it's like Chris Rock made the joke in No Sex in the Champagne Room, where he was like, don't go to strip clubs that have metal detectors, because as soon as you get out, the dudes that are sitting outside with guns know that you don't have one. You know what I mean? So it's like we're using nonsensical ways to try to deter things that the clearest way to do it, like they say, one person with a gun can control 100 people without.
So you think having a guard at school should be right? Like
when I was in high school, we used to have a sheriff or a local PD on staff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
They're after school for events and stuff like that.
they were there. You know what I mean? It's like
no, but I mean
whether or not he's gonna go in when the shit hits the fan
is another story. I mean
that we can get into that topic as well. You know what I mean? That's something that fucking baffled me. That these fuckers waited almost an hour for whatever. Maybe they fucked up. Maybe they were just scared. I don't give a fuck what it is. This is what you get fucking paid for. When you sign, and this is a problem with defunding police, with fucking all this other bullshit.
Well, they're super funded though.
No. Here's the thing. But when you start spreading the narrative of defund the police, police reform, all this stuff, people that sign up for the job sign up because it's a pension, they get paid well, and you don't need very much education to be in the position.
The management
these aren't the most qualified people.
Things, though, I mean, can be improved.
100%.
So
100%. I feel like
correct.
I feel like that question or that conversation should be had before you start talking about gun laws, because gun laws do not fucking work. Show me a state that has the most gun laws and that they don't have any issues with guns.
But I mean, the narrative that is being pushed is make what California is doing federal, right? That's kind of the route we're going. Isn't that like the current narrative?
I guess they want the red flag law, which is basically incriminate people before they've created a crime.
Do we have red flag laws in California?
Huh?
Do we have red flag laws in California?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Because it's unconstitutional. You can't fucking lock someone up because of the fact that they said something. Like, it goes against not only the Second Amendment right, it goes against your First Amendment right. You know, freedom of speech. I could talk all the shit I want to, and just be talking shit. You know, I can come on this podcast and say, oh, I can, I want to, put it into so and so, so and so, and so and so.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just talking shit. I could be doing it for multiple reasons. Now, is it concerning? Yeah, it's fucking concerning. Would I do it? No, I wouldn't fucking do it. You know, is it something that you should fucking probably keep an eye on? Sure. Should I be able to get a gun? It's
Yeah,
nuanced.
I mean,
It's nuanced.
Yeah, definitely.
It's nuanced.
Well, that's the,
You know what I mean?
That's the trouble with this conversation. It's like, dang, this is a big ass rabbit hole. Like, it is hard to figure out where you draw the lines of these things. But to currently go the route we just are going and just leave it alone and be like, well, that happens. If you're a parent, you don't want to hear that, you know?
Right.
So it's like something has to happen.
But the thing is, it's not that the route has always been something happens. Let's look at more gun laws. Something happens. Let's look at more gun laws.
Okay, then if it's not more gun laws, what's the solution?
Exactly. That's the conversation
Yeah,
that needs to be had. Jake, you got the torch?
Can you catch?
Yeah.
That's the conversation. That's the conversation that I feel like no one's having. And part of that conversation, or a strong proponent for that conversation, is perhaps putting more deterrence in our schools, putting more deterrence in the places that we hold the highest value, where
Well, like
people-
the one entry, I looked at my kid's school after. It's like they do have one entry, but like if somebody really wanted to, they could hop a fence pretty easily. It's like, dang, there's no defense over that.
you're not gonna, someone that wants to raise havoc, you're not gonna keep them from raising havoc. They're gonna do whatever they can to raise fucking havoc. Now, how much you can control that havoc and how much you can respond to that havoc is what's important. That's the most important. I think police officers are fucking completely undertrained. You know, their training is fucking clearly not.
Not all of them.
I mean, I don't know. When you talk about police brutality, when you talk about, I mean, you want.
But you can't just lump every single one of them.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, there's nuances.
I don't know. SWAT showed up to the fucking school, didn't do shit.
It's true. I haven't read all the details about how that went.
You know, it's like there's plenty of people that should have been capable of.
And that department was like
reacting.
the most funded in, that part
Right.
of Texas. Like,
so
they had a ridiculous amount of funding, and like 2 months ago they had a photo shoot, like all decked out and all their gear and stuff, and for them to just be so
unresponsive.
unresponsive, it
Yeah.
was.
It's baffling.
It's heartbreaking.
It's baffling. It's fucking like, what are we doing here? What's the point? You know, and it doesn't make the argument to let's fund the cops more.
Yeah.
Let's
Correct.
fund them more. Yeah, let's give them more money so they can just use the money to fucking get new squad cars and get nicer guns and look
and
nice.
Get OT.
Yeah, and get OT and put them, in all these places where they're not going to do anything.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's like, what's going on here? Like, and it's a common thread in how society just deals with shit now. It's just kind of like, you put people, this story, this argument can like take so many nuanced facets where it's just kind of like, you could talk about the people that are getting hired for the position. Are they getting hired because they're right for the position, or because they got to meet a fucking quota of women to men ratio, or African American to white, and all these things? Or are we getting the most skilled people? Or the fact that we've been shitting on police officers for the past 3 years, and talking about how shitty they are and how much they're the biggest pieces of shit, and a lot of fucking good officers have retired because they're like, I don't want to deal with this shit. Like, what? Who wants to do that? It's a thankless job to begin with. And not only is it a thankless job, now cops were getting. You had those sheriffs in California right here that got fucking gunned down not gunned down. They survived, but they got shot. The 2 sheriffs that got shot in Compton, sitting in their fucking squad car.
But I mean, you hear about like what's going on in the city of LA, the cops and the like gangs they have within the department.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's fucking crazy in itself.
Yeah, and then you have the blue code and all kinds of shit.
It's not like they're great dudes.
Again, because are we hiring the most?
I mean, it's a big ass rabbit hole, right? It's like this.
Like,
That's what.
I imagine. Sorry,
No, you go.
I imagine the pool that they're pulling from is not going to be that diverse. It's just going to be people that either see that it's a good paycheck or people that want to carry the gun and stuff like that.
And their vetting process is, I couldn't get through. Maybe that's saying I'm a piece of shit, whatever. But
I mean, considering the people that are through now, it's like, dang, what the hell is going on? Like,
and
what is?
And I wanted to I wanted to become a police officer, not because like I saw my father-in-law. My father was a police officer for many years, and I was like, wow, the way he was able to provide for his family, I was like, this is a great gig,
Respectable gig.
respectable gig. You know, I mean, but it's not a respectable gig in the eyes of the public. But when you are in it and you understand it, it's a respectable gig. But
I mean, it can be, right?
Can be.
But it does have a negative tone, especially here in a city like Long Beach.
But knowing where I came from and saying like, I've been in the streets, I've dealt with cops where I was just kind of like, that was a cool cop. He made me change my opinion on cops.
Yeah.
Or that was a dickhead cop. Fuck him.
Yeah, I mean, that's my growing up. My brother was picked on by Signal Hill Police. Like, they would single him out, and it sucked. And I know a few friends who, same thing. Like, they would go out of their way to fuck with people.
Yeah, we had a. It's funny because my dad has a similar story. We had a cop. He was actually one of the cops that was stationed at our school. He knew me and my friends, right? And he would show up to parties and pull us, you know, like when the party broke up, and grab us and pull us aside, sit us down, fucking handcuff us and all this shit. Like not make examples of us because he didn't end up arresting us, but he'd like detain us just to fuck with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? While everyone else gets to go in their car and
yeah,
like kind of like, and maybe it was his like tough love way of saying like, hey, get your shit together. You know what I mean? Like, this is the life you're in
with this crowd.
Yeah, you're dealing with a bunch of fucking knuckleheads, and this is, but it was like, it was embarrassing, you know, and demoralizing, but it's like that. You have those experiences and you're just kind of like, man, what a dick, you know? But then I had cops that were fucking super cool and really nice and like, hey man, look, you know, you're fucking around. You know, this isn't right.
Yeah.
Get home, you know, go listen to your mom, listen to your dad. Like, you know, if you don't have that in your home, and actually like fucking give you time.
I mean, I actually know a few cops, like family and friends, and they're cool dudes, you know? I don't really know them in their work environment, but I know them as people, and they're really cool. So I'm glad those guys are cops, you know, at least.
And they're all human, man. They're
Correct,
all human.
exactly.
The same way you come home from fucking work and you're just kind of like, man, this was a fuck day, fuck this, fuck that. Imagine dealing with the fucking pieces of shit that society doesn't want to fucking deal with on a daily basis. You know? And I don't want to make this a big fucking like cops are amazing fucking podcast or anything like that. But at the same time, when the job is thankless to begin with, and then on top of that, you have all this added pressure, and you're just, and the media is just like, cops are fucking, all cops are pieces of shit. All cops are fucked up. All cops, who's going out for these jobs? People that just want to get a fucking paycheck, or like, hey, look, fucking Long Beach hasn't hired cops for like, this was what, maybe 10, 12 years ago? I was looking to become a cop. I applied Long Beach, Signal Hill, fucking everywhere. No one was hiring. No, they were on like a hiring freeze. 5 to like 6 years later, and now cops are driving around with "we're hiring" stickers on their fucking squad cars. And I'm like, holy shit! Like, how bad is it to where, like, you guys, it's that bad that you guys have to advertise like, hey, anybody who wants to be a cop, please come apply.
They do that at the airport. That's the first sign you see when you drive in the airport.
It's fucking nuts. Yeah, you know, and it's like, yeah, people don't want these fucking jobs, you know, and I don't blame them because they get shitted on. So it's now we have a bunch of people that don't want these jobs that are just fucking there because of the fact that it's a paycheck, and then you expect them to save your fucking kid's life, or you expect them to run into a fucking building and save you from a fucking insane asshole that is having a fucking rough life. You know, it's like, but these are the conversations no one wants to have because it's just easier to put a Band-Aid on a fucking bleeding artery and say, let's slap some more gun laws on there. Laws fix everything. Let's restrict more rights.
I mean, the majority of people I talk to, though, like when I have the conversation, it's just like, it doesn't make sense to have more gun laws. But something has to happen.
But you're also in the echo chamber of California, where how many more fucking gun laws can we have here?
True.
How strict, other than taking all our guns out, what the fuck else is left?
The consensus is like, all right, well, that's kind of just asking what California already does federally. But it's like, what do we do to stop what's currently happening?
Another question is, of the census of people you guys you're having this conversation with, how many are gun owners? You know,
Majority.
You know,
Yeah.
So they're coming from like a look, man. I have a fucking arsenal at home. I don't go killing people.
Correct.
I
Yeah.
don't go fucking with anybody. You know what I mean?
No, the majority of people I know who have a ton of guns are like the most by the book, and you know everything's put away, and I think that's a very like gun safety for most gun owners is very important.
100%. 100%.
And it isn't shined on enough, I guess, or there isn't.
They're not giving their due. That hey, we're responsible about our
correct.
shit.
Yeah.
If we weren't, shit would be a lot worse.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, so we need to reset the shutters. Yeah. As a gun owner, someone that's shot guns, I wouldn't even say I'm an avid gun nut, but there's something that happens when you get a gun in your hand, you go to a shooting range and you shoot at a target or whatever it is. It all of a sudden becomes very real, the capability of that weapon, right? And there's an overwhelming sense of responsibility that comes over you where you're just kind of like, holy shit. Like even when you're at a shooting range with like people next to you and stuff, you start to realize there's a moment where you're shooting and you're having a good time and everything. And then you look around and you're like, if any of these assholes is having a bad day, it could be bad for fucking anyone here. You know what I mean? And there's this nervousness and this sense of like anxiety and tension that comes with it. When you experience that and then you own a gun on your own, you have the utmost respect for that, you know? Now, that's my personal experience with having a gun, owning a gun. And I know that a lot of people share that sentiment, but there's obviously fucking people that are mentally unstable and don't get that feeling, you know? But they are highly in the minority when it comes to gun owners. You know, it's rare. And then even people that I've hunted, I used to think like, oh, it'd be so cool to go fucking hunting and like shoot something that's alive and like actually like kill it and be like, oh shit, like I shot it, hell yeah, you know? And the more I get to getting closer to actually going hunting and experience that, and especially after having my son, there's this kind of like catharsis that comes with it where you're just kind of like, I'm taking another life. And if I'm gonna take this fucking life, it better be fucking worth it. I better do everything I can, do right by this animal, use its pelt, use its meat, use everything, because the fact that I took this life should not go to waste.
Not just gonna wait. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what like was dope about like Native Americans, right? They have a whole like ceremony,
right?
They celebrate it, and I mean, granted, they would eat. They were hunters, so they would eat that shit.
Exactly.
But, I mean, it was a spiritual thing. It wasn't just like, oh, fucking, let's just divvy it up.
And I think the spirituality, I think the spirituality of, and this is gonna sound really stupid or ridiculous to people that don't own guns or don't like guns, but the spirituality or the connection that you have when you realize the power of that weapon is something that isn't taken lightly. Mm-hmm. You know? And it's easy to talk about it like, oh, you guys want your fucking AR-15s and you guys want your fucking guns and you just want blah, 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 blah. When you realize that there's a almost symbiotic and important relationship with that weapon, you start to understand being a gun owner more than anything. You know, it's kind of like having a kid in a sense where it's like, you don't know what it's like to be a father until you have a kid. You can talk about like, oh yeah, my kid, I'd do this with them, I'd do that with them. Why don't I like, oh, I would never do this with my kid. But when you actually have a kid and you realize the impact you make on that kid and the shit that can go right, the shit that can go wrong, and how you just want to do right by them, and you just want things, and you start going back on a lot of shit that you thought you were like you would do as a parent, but then when you're actually dealing with that little life, you're like, shit, man, I can't. You know, I thought I'd be tougher, but I'm not. You know, it's like
pushover.
I'm a pushover when it comes to certain things. Or I'm kind of like, you know, like, or fuck, I feel like I was really rough on them, you know, like shit, like
Yeah.
I feel guilty now, you know,
You're
like
trying to draw a line, trying to
yeah,
be
you
stern,
know,
but
or
it's like, fuck, I broke their heart. just right now.
exactly, yeah. Or it's like
And you
this is
see it in them. It's
Yeah.
like, oh man.
yeah, when you see their little look in their eyes and you're like, look, man, this is for your good.
Better, yeah, exactly.
They're like, I know you don't understand this now, but this is for you. And then you realize like, man, I gotta go to bed like feeling like an asshole because I put him down, but I know like, you know,
Yeah.
he's gonna be a wreck tomorrow if he doesn't get his sleep, or
Yeah.
you know, he really wanted, like, he was having such a good time and I just totally fucked it up for him. You know, that's shit that you don't get until you're a parent, you know, and there's a similarity there with being a gun owner, you know, or having that symbiotic relationship with a gun once you've experienced it. And if you don't experience it, it's tough for you to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, and not to say you should be discredited because you don't know, but it's
Well, I
it's
think that's the
nuanced.
thing that's cool though, like having those conversations with non-gun owners or people, if you don't own a gun, having a conversation with a gun owner, seeing that other side and making sense of something.
Yeah.
It makes you have a better perspective.
Yeah.
So I think everybody just needs to do more of that.
Yeah, and my biggest disdain with this whole situation is the fact that lives were lost, and people want to talk about trivial bullshit when it's like lives were lost, guys. Like
How long do you want them to wait from tragedy to?
man, there isn't.
Well, I think that's a problem though. It's just like we don't have a conversation and just like wait until the next one happens, and nothing happens in between them. So I mean, that is a gripe that is totally valid.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what the fuck do we do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's.
but that's the circle.
But
That's
here,
the circle.
but I don't think it's people going and saying, what do we do? It's more, this is what we need to do. This is what needs to happen. This is what it's like. No, we need to have a conversation of what is fundamentally wrong here. You know, let's talk about what's
mental
fundamentally
health. I mean,
mental
there's
health,
many
100%.
Many
you know?
things. That's the
The-
problem with the conversation. It's like it gets to that, and it's just like it's too complicated.
Yeah.
Fuck it, just not do anything.
Yeah.
Because the mental health conversation is too touchy for people, but not the gun control. Why is one of them taboo to talk about rather than the other?
You know why? Because more people have experience with mental health and dealing with their mental health than they do with experience with guns.
They don't want to be singled out and they don't want to be talked about.
I guess it's just it's easy for me to say mental health is an issue because I've struggled with mental health myself. You know, there's days where I've kind of like, I don't know how I feel today. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, I just don't want to do anything. Sometimes I don't even want to fucking get out of bed. You know, I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with suicidal thoughts, all kinds of shit. And you're just kind of like, wow, that's heavy shit. I can almost empathize with someone that loses their shit, you know? But at the same time, there's way more nuance to what the fuck was going through that kid's head, was going through anybody's head in that situation.
Yeah.
You know? And like,
Question.
yeah.
When you apply for like a license for a gun owner, don't they ask those questions? Like, have you or have any thoughts of harming yourself or anybody else and things like that, right? Okay.
Is that burrito number 2?
No, tacos in the burrito.
Oh, taco.
Yeah, tacos and burritos.
Yeah, he's not a fucking savage.
I thought you were saying La Mexicana.
Oh.
No, but, 'cause-
No, so that's part of the background check.
Right.
So if you've had anything in your background check that is
But that's also self-identifying too. 'Cause you're supposed to say.
You say no.
no, so
I know people say no, even though they have those mental problems.
Is it as simple as that?
to buy a gun in California, you just have to go through the gun safety
Tutorial.
gun safety test and to get your permit. Once you're permitted to have a gun, then the background check and all that shit is what gets.
And that's where they ask those questions, right? Or no?
No, there's no questionnaire. There's no questionnaire. No.
But it's just.
But here's the thing. So the people that should be doing their fucking job is the government with the background checks. This is the whole reason for background checks. How well are their background checks? Well, that's on the government. I don't know. I don't trust fucking Gavin Newsom and what the fuck they're doing with this fucking state and how they're vetting their background check. So all this shit where you're like, oh, we need more gun laws and we need to give more power to the government to to enforce these laws when they're not even doing a great job in getting their fucking background checks.
I mean, fair
Squared
point.
away.
I mean, that's something most people don't look in, like, go in depth looking at, like, or looking at that scenario that you just mentioned.
No, they're
It's
too
like,
worried.
oh, we'll just put a law and that'll fix it.
They're too worried about an AR-15, you know, because that's the bad guy. That's the scary gun right now. That's the whoa, oh shit. That it's a wow. It's a weapon of war. That's a new term that they're going with. Weapon of war. AR-15 has been used countless times in different aspects other than war. There's sport shooting. There's pest control. There's all kinds of shit that they use it for, right? Ultimately, it's a gun. It's meant to fucking kill something. It's what guns are for. Kill something. Whether it's to protect your land from a fucking rodent that's eating all your shit up, eating all your vegetation up, and that's how you make your money, or whether it's to protect you and your family from someone that's invading your home, or protect you from tyrants. Your government, another government, anybody, a bunch of people marching down your fucking street with a hang up over fucking something that went wrong in society. It's to protect you from that shit. You know, it's not just like, oh, I got a gun and I'm cool because I can fucking shoot whoever I want to and I can, you know, it is what it is. No, it's more than not used for either target shooting, rodent control, and then the military aspects are, in times of war, you know, but how many wars are we dealing with?
But like making it about current state, let's say the AR-15 thing goes away, like everybody's allowed to have AR-15s, right? Let's say that the conversation goes away. Everybody can have AR-15. What is the conversation then? Like, how do we stop, or what do we do?
One of the best things that were proposed, which is already a law that's in, it's just a modification to the law, is raising the age of people that can buy.
Makes sense, right? That's good. Something
long rifles.
Something
1821.
makes sense.
The reason they allow 18-year-olds to buy long rifles is because of the fact that when you join the military, you join it at 18 years old, and first thing they hand you is a fucking long rifle, right?
Yeah.
So if it's okay for us to, and the thing is, people don't realize that the reason the age is so low for people to get brought into and there's a cap on how old you can be is because they can groom you. It's what boot camp.
What is that?
So
Why they have 18 as a minimum?
18, yeah, 18. So as soon as you're an adult, the reason there's a threshold of when you can be recruited is because you are still able to be manipulated mentally, right? And it's what boot camp has done. This is what it's for. They break you down and they build you up in their way that they want to build you up. It's the whole point of boot camp. That's why boot camp is so intense and so shocking. It's basically they give you PTSD to then when you're ready to conform, they've broken you down mentally so much that now they can conform you in the way that they want to do, so you can respond the way they need you to respond in times of war. It's fucked up when you think about it in that sense, but it's exactly what is needed to have somebody do something like kill someone, because your natural inclination when you're standing face to face with someone and it's life or death, you still have empathy and you still have sympathy and you don't want to fucking kill them. You know, that's why people come back fucked up from war. Mm-hmm. They come back all fucked up because they're like, man, there was a kid my age. The story happens so many with Vietnam vets where it's like this fucking young kid sitting in a fucking in the jungle with a fucking gun, and it was him or me. Kid must have been like 13 years old. Here I am, 20 years old or 19 years old, and I killed this fucking poor kid. But it was either him or me.
Yeah.
And you justify it, and the reason they justify it, or the reason they're able to justify it, is because that's what they were indoctrinated with and ingrained in when they went through boot camp and went through the military, And now they're doing all this kind of like softer type of boot camp experience, which is it may take a toll on us, and how powerful we are as a military force in the country, But then again, technology has advanced so much to where it's like boots on the ground is really kind of more cleanup than it is actually taking over the country. We got everything's basically drone based and anything. So, I mean, but yeah, that's
So,
the reason.
culture
18
of the podcast.
War is becoming a video game.
Definitely, yeah.
Like, you know what's hilarious
You
is
got
that
Tesla coming out with drones
You-
or
the robot.
robot, yeah.
Yeah, the robot. But the thing is, you have all this fucking bullshit narrative being pushed and all this, and then everyone's all fucking stoked about this new Call of Duty fucking trailer. You know what I mean? Where the whole fucking trailer is guys in the back of a fucking Humvee or whatever the fuck, gearing up, loading their AR-15s, loading their fucking M4s, and fucking getting ready to fucking go kill. You know? So you're in one breath, the same people that are condemning it for the rest of the law-abiding citizens are glorifying it to fucking profit and make money. So it's like, where the fuck are we in society? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of fucking, there's a lot of fuckery going on. You know what I mean? And it's to sit there and think that the government gives a fuck about you or your family. I'm sorry. I know you voted for them. I know you fucking think that they're going to do right by you. The government doesn't give a fuck about you or your family.
I mean, I think there's a lot of liberals who are still like supporting the Biden administration, but there's also a good amount that are just like, we are in a shitty spot. That argument that you just made that people are just like standing behind it is.
But I'm not. But see, I made that statement for all government. You know, even the people that are fucking Trump supporters or not. If you think Donald Trump gives a fuck about you or your fucking family, you obviously haven't seen how he's taken advantage of millions and millions of families through his whole career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a businessman.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck about
Totally
you.
agree.
He may do shit that's better for you in the short term or better for you, and it's also, you guys have your objectives aligned for the time being, but he does not give a fuck about you personally. He doesn't. No politician does. And we talked about this earlier in one of our podcasts where it's like, if you're a politician, it takes a certain type of personality to become a politician. These aren't the fucking people that care and are the most empathetic and the most sympathetic. Most of them are so fucking out of touch, they don't even know what the fuck is going on in society. These people don't care about you. But unfortunately, they're who we have to vote for. They're who we have to fucking put in.
Those are our choices.
Yeah.
Right?
Because the thing is, the people that actually give a fuck and the people that are actually bleeding hearts for society and want things to get better don't have the fucking funding to put up a campaign that is worth getting them elected. You know? There's a bunch of people that actually want to do good, but there's so much fucking hidden interest and a bunch of bullshit behind it. Government is bullshit. It's bullshit, you know? And I hate to sound like a fucking anarchist, but it's like, to sit there and don't kid yourself. These people don't give a fuck about you. They don't care. They don't care about your family. They don't care. They may have similar morals, and that's basically all you can go off of. But when push comes to shove, they're gonna go with the crowd. They're gonna go with whoever the fuck is
helping them.
So wait, you're gonna fund my campaign. Okay, so you guys are all gonna help me out when
What
my
you want me to do?
re-election's coming up. You guys are all gonna help me out and back me up, right? You all are gonna say like, yeah, we're good with Jose. Okay, cool. Fuck it. I guess I'll vote for you, whatever we're voting for. You know, whether it's good for your family or not. You know, which is why shit like mass shootings and all this shit, nothing has been done. And it's because the people that we have that can take care of this shit are too busy with their heads up their asses, not giving a fuck about how your family. They don't give a shit about the fact that those kids died. They don't.
Agree with that.
You know,
Totally
it's sad. You know, they don't give a fuck. You know, and unfortunately, that's the world we live in. And the more you get to realize that's the world we live in, the better off where you're like, all I have is myself. I care about my family. I give a fuck about my family. I don't want anything to happen to my family. How can I protect my family? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Taking guns away from you is not the way to protect your family, because everyone else that's gonna come after you and your family is gonna have guns. You know, so fucking put a
Gun control
conversation. Yeah, so more gun control basically is what I'm saying. Fuck, man, that shit. I didn't want to fucking go there.
It was a heavy.
Super fucking heavy. I fucking hate having. But most importantly, God bless all those souls in Uvalde, Texas, in Buffalo, and anywhere where there's been fucking tragedy like that. My heart goes out to you guys.
And the families that are
yeah,
dealing
and the family.
with it. It's
No one
even
should have
worse.
to deal with that shit. Plain and simple. Shit's terrible. But yeah, next topic.
Get
I mean, yeah. If we want to do one more shutter, we can do another shutter too.
get on a lighter.
Cut this one out. That way it's just like nice little one episode.
Oh, you want to do just okay? We'll reset.
It's gun control episode.
Jesus Christ.
That way you don't do it 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right. Well, yeah, that does it for that shitty episode. Fuck
Nah,
that
it wasn't
episode.
shitty. I mean, it was-
I hate having those conversations.
But at least we had a conversation. Yeah.
The thing is, I say all that shit because I bite my tongue when it comes. Because the thing is, I'm not going to change your mind about gun control. I'm not going to change your mind about gun control. If that's how you feel.
Actually,
That's
I'm,
not why we're
I mean,
filming, though.
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of open to the whole.
No.
like,
But I'm
yeah.
saying, if someone's coming at me with like, fuck guns, this is, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to get through to you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get through, and I'm not going to, I don't want to insult you by trying to sit there and like, well, you're wrong. Well,
Yeah.
this, well, that. You know what I mean? It's not my place.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, if you want to have this conversation and you want to listen to something and be more optimistic, if you haven't made the steps to be more objective in the way you think, then that's on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you're ready to be receptive to that kind of shit, when someone comes up to me and says, hey, what do you think about gun control?
Yeah.
Or how do you feel about this? Or hey, you own guns, right? Like, what do you think? That's when I'll give my opinion. But other than that, when it's all this fucking blah, 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 all this like fucking back and forth shouting, I just like, I keep my mouth shut, you know what I mean? Because I have my views, and I know my views are not very popular in most crowds.
Well, it's all right. There's the podcast. So
You know, this is why I have these outlets, I guess. But
this is a perfect forum for you to
yeah,
air it all out.
you don't like it, turn it off.
Yeah. You'll have maybe one comment. So.
Yeah, we
Oh
will.
my God.
And I know where it's coming from too. No,
I've already let them know we're filming.
I don't like to gender him.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm totally agitated.
He. That's cool. That's cool. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry it was so heavy on this one. If you guys have any comments, I'm sure we'll get them below. I appreciate you guys for sticking through it, and we'll catch you on the next one. Shoots.
And I've been down.